Hey everybody, it's Tyler Austin. Thank you so much for watching. So I'm out on the range today doing some training and filming some content for you. And this video is going to be about that. So I haven't been uploading any content to YouTube for many months now. And that's because I haven't been very happy with the direction that YouTube's been going. They've been going that way for a long time, but they've recently implemented a bunch of bullshit rules and so forth, which makes it really hard for especially gun channels and really all kinds of other channels as well from producing content. At least it limits them pretty significantly. And on top with all the random violations with which my channel has several at this point, many of my videos have also been taken down due to all these rule changes and whatnot. So I stated in a video a while back that I was looking for another platform. So this video is going to be about that. So I have decided that I am going to move the majority of my content over to Player, or what was formerly known as Utreon, and Patreon. I'm still going to be uploading videos to YouTube, but they're going to be fairly limited, and obviously I'm not going to be posting anything that could potentially get the channel taken down completely. So the majority of my content now is going to be going over to Utreon, or formerly, or what's now known as Player, and Patreon. There's going to be a subscription to that. It's not going to be very expensive. I'll describe that here in a moment. But I'm going to be doing a lot in terms of content, not only video content, but other content and stuff for you guys to benefit from, which is one of the reasons I'm here right now. I'm actually filming stuff and producing stuff for that. So like I said, I'm going over to both Player, formerly known as Utreon, and Patreon. Now Patreon has its own problems. They're not nearly as bad as YouTube yet, but they have certainly done things that isn't really conducive to channels like this. But the reason why I'm also going to Patreon as well, even though they've certainly had those problems, is because I know a lot of you probably subscribe to channels on Patreon. So a lot of you might prefer to kind of condense all of your subscriptions. So that's the reason why I chose to also go to Patreon. If I didn't think that was the case, I would be exclusively on Player for several reasons. I think that Player is just a better platform in terms of a Patreon competitor. But I do understand that a lot of you also have other Patreon subscriptions and you would just like to keep everything condensed. So that way you can only you only have to go to one website to view all the content that you want to see. With that being said, there are significant advantages to Player as opposed to Patreon, both for you as a viewer and for me as a creator. The biggest advantage is Player isn't going to be doing any censorship. They've made that fairly clear that they're very open and friendly as long as you're not doing something that's ridiculous like pornography or something like that. So I'm not worried about Player performing any censorship or putting any weird and obnoxious rules in place that make it hard for me to and other channels to do things. Also, one of the biggest advantages to Player is that they have their own servers. So Patreon, if you don't know, you can't upload as a content creator. You can't upload to Patreon servers. They don't have their own servers like a YouTube does, where you upload a video and it goes to a Patreon server. You actually have to use a third-party server like YouTube and then link that to your Patreon. That's how Patreon works, which again can be kind of annoying. So Player, on the other hand, actually has their own servers, kind of like YouTube, where once you upload to it, you are uploading to Player server, so you don't have to use a third party and link your video from a third party to your subscription channel. So that is very beneficial. Also, on top of that, Player is currently transferring all my YouTube videos over to their servers as well. That's going to take a little while because I have a lot of videos out there. So that will probably be a few months before they have all of them up there. But regardless, all my YouTube videos will be on Player on their own server. So in the event that my YouTube channel is taken down, or a particular video is taken down because it violates some obscure rule set that YouTube put in place, you can find that video on Player. I'm probably going to look for another channel or another platform. I might choose Odyssey to upload other videos, my more popular videos on there, so I can link them over to Patreon, although I might actually be able to do that from Player now that I'm thinking about it. Regardless, I will try to upload at least my more popular videos onto Patreon as well, so that way people can access it there too, or technically find another place to upload the video and link it to Patreon, but you get what I mean. So that way my more popular videos are on there as well for those of you who choose to subscribe on Patreon. But do know that all my videos on YouTube will be on Player. So if there is a video on there that you want to see, it will definitely be on my Player. And all the videos that are on Player will also be free, so you don't have to subscribe to me on Player to see those. Whatever's free out there in terms of free content I put on YouTube or what is already on YouTube will always be free. So it's not like you're going to have a paywall to find my already free videos. So just understand that. So in terms of the content I plan on doing for my Patreon and my Player subscribers, first and foremost, if you subscribe to either Patreon or Player, you will get access to my Combative Kalashnikov ebook totally free. So if you subscribe to, again, either Player or Patreon, my Combative Kalashnikov ebook, which is 155 pages, I believe, 150 something pages long, my ebook totally free, so you'll have access to that. On top of that, I plan on doing a lot of training videos. Most of the gun channel content out there is primarily geared towards like gear reviews and stuff like that, which is awesome. I have nothing against that, but my primary focus is on training and tactics. So I'm going to be doing a lot of videos on specifically training. That's what I'm out here doing now. I'm actually doing a 100-round rifle session for you guys, which you will have access to both on, again, my Player account and my Patreon account. And I plan on doing a lot of videos on like CQB, small unit tactics, general pistol and rifle training, and all that kind of stuff. Not saying I won't ever do gear reviews or stuff like that, but that's not really something I'm terribly interested in, or I care to spend a lot of time doing. Not saying I don't ever do them or I won't ever do them, but again, I'm more interested in the training and tactics side of things and providing content for you guys to go out and practice and train to improve your own skill sets. So some benefits. So on top of, let's just talk about Patreon versus Player for a second. So I do prefer Player over Patreon as a content creator. First and foremost, as I'm not concerned about them actually censoring or doing anything like that, or putting any weird rule set in place, like I've already said. Patreon has done that in the past, so I'm not terribly, they're not nearly as bad as YouTube, but I think they could potentially go that way. So that's definitely a factor in it. But also, again, I prefer Player as a content creator for all the reasons I already described. Also, I think it's just a general overall platform. It's more friendly to use and so forth. Moving on from there, so even though I'm going to have a Patreon account as well, there will be benefits to you subscribing to my Player account rather than my Patreon account. Number one, like the things I've already mentioned, all my YouTube videos will be transferred over there over the course of the next few months, so you have access to all of those in the event that YouTube does go down, or they strike down my account, whatever. Also, you'll get a pretty good discount in terms of the subscription rate. So on Patreon, it will be $10 a month. On Utreon, or now what's now known as Player, it will be $7.99 a month. So you do get a pretty significant discount. So yeah, I mean, that's really it. Again, I plan on doing a lot of content for you guys. There's already quite a bit of content on there now, especially in terms of my ebook. That's now free for my subscribers, so definitely be sure to check that out. That's definitely worth at least your first month subscription. So if you're into AKs, definitely be sure to check that out. I'm going to be doing a lot of dry fire training sessions and training cards on there as well for both handgun and rifle. Range sessions that you can do, so that way you're not just going out and just practicing random stuff out on the range. You'll actually have a specific program to follow, if you will, for each range session you do, again, for both rifle and pistol. I'm going to be videoing a rifle one today as we speak, so that will be up very shortly, and all sorts of stuff like that. So again, I plan on giving you guys a lot of stuff to help improve your skill sets and all of that. So I hope to see you on my Patreon and on my player. Whichever one you choose is fine with me. I hope to see you on either one of those. Links to both will be down in the description below, of course, so be sure to check those out. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys on my player slash Patreon accounts.